everybody, Nicole Harold here, and I am really excited to talk to you guys today about balance. So, here we go. Life is a beautiful ride. It's all about balance. Keep moving. One of my favorite signs at the office here, and one of my favorite subjects to talk about because it's a little mysterious to a lot of people. I find it absolutely fascinating. And in order to get your balance better, I think it's extremely important that you understand how balance works. So let's get started. First thing you need to know about balance is that it is absolutely a sense. It is this sense of balance. It is not a muscle. So you can have all the muscles in the world. You could be a bodybuilder and you can still be unsteady. You can go to the gym. You can exercise. You can do the bike. You can do the treadmill. You can lift weights and you can still be unsteady. So let me explain how this works. In our culture, in North America, anyway, don't know where you're at, but if you're in a first world country, then most likely your vision is the number one sense you use for balance. Without you even thinking about it, because this is all integrated when we were wee babes and we learned how to balance the first time, okay? Our brain, without us being aware, will look at everything in the room. If this is tilted, which it might be, and everything in the room looks tilted to me, then my brain starts to think that maybe I'm falling over. So this is happening all the time. Our eyes, our brain are communicating about are things level or not. We also get in situations where our vision is removed. Either it's dark, get up in the middle of the night. You guys have heard that, right? People fall a lot getting out of bed in the middle of the night. So if we're in a dark environment, taking the garbage out at night, forgot to take it out earlier. I live in Florida. If power's out and your windows are boarded up, it gets really dark. And those type of situations are when you have your eyes closed, like you're washing your face, washing your hair, taking a shirt on and off like this where you're temporarily blinded. And even going outside into the bright sunlight, you're temporarily blinded. All of those visual difficulties make it harder for us to balance because in first world countries, we are very visually dependent. We'll talk about how to get through that. That's just something you need to realize. Pattern can also be a problem. So I have a polka dot shirt I like to wear to work, and I don't wear it to work anymore because a lot of my inner ear, particularly my inner ear patients, will look at me and just say that it's just too confusing. They just feel anxious just looking at it. Crowds, same thing. You may not have ever thought about it before, but if you feel a little anxious in a crowd, it can relate to something going on with your balance systems. So that's the first sense, visual sense. And obviously we have two eyes, or hopefully there are two functioning eyes for us. If not, there's another issue. Which kind of leads me to the extreme situation. We know that if someone loses their sight completely, they're not going to be as balanced. What we also know about that situation is those people use their other senses to help out. They become extra sensitive to vibration, sound, touch, amazing stuff, stories that we've heard, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So two eyes, the visual system, is the first part of balance. Secondly is the sense of touch or proprioception, being aware of where we are in our space. Mainly, we get that through our feet, okay? That should be the only part of us on the floor, hopefully, most of the time. And so our feet are detecting whether the surface we're standing on is sloped, sends that signal up to our brain, and then our brain has to tell our feet to make the proper adjustments. So when people walk up a ramp, can they do that properly? If not, they're going to get unsteady. If they have issues with their feet, which could be structural, okay, could be hammer toes, could be a loss of a toe, could be a loss of a foot, could be neuropathy. Typical neuropathy symptoms are pain, numbness, tingling, burning. Altered sensation of the feet is going to give you altered balance. So we have two eyes, 2 feet. The third sense that makes up balance is the vestibular system, which you've heard me say a few times. Vestibular meaning the inner ear, the part that controls balance. That part is next to the hearing center. but separate. So you can have good hearing and not so good balance, or you can have not so good balance and good hearing. I think I said that backwards. You get me. Hopefully. One could be great and the other one cannot be. Or they could both be great. Or you can have an issue with the nerve where both areas are an issue. The vestibulocochlear nerve coming in there. No need to get into the super science of it. But 2 eyes, 2 feet, 2 inner ears. So as a therapist, what I do is I look at each of my clients and see what's working well for this patient and what's not. Where are their strengths? Where are areas that either we're going to try to improve or we're going to teach them workarounds for? So my challenge to you is think about your own personal situation. How's your vision? Do you have double vision? That's a big deal. Okay? Really hard to keep your balance when you have double vision. I use the example of the glasses that I wear a lot. If I gave them to you and asked you to wear them, you could probably function even though they're not your prescription, but you'd have probably a difficult time being as stable as usual. That's my best example of what it can feel like when one of your 3 balance senses isn't working well for you. Your vision, your feet, or your inner ear. If it's just one of those senses, most of the time people can muddle through, okay? But I've had clients that have come and have had all 3 areas an issue. And then, of course, we've got to figure out how do we help those people reduce the risk of falling and keep them off the floor. So your challenge to think about your visual system, what's going well, what's not going well. Think about your sense of touch, particularly through your feet. If you're the type of person that likes to touch things with your hands, that's a clue that you're needing a little extra help with that sense. And then lastly, your inner ear. That's a little harder for you to figure out. We'll certainly talk about that a little bit, but if you have vertigo, if you move your head too quickly, you feel funny, that may be a sign that something's going on with your inner ear. That's a whole nother several episodes that we will touch on in future. So look forward to getting some feedback. Let me know in the comments what you think about your situation, whether this makes sense, where you need more areas of explanation. I've got lots of plans to share more information with you. So I'll see you next time.